Hi students, today we are going to study about sensors and actuators. So normally embedded system needs to interact with the external world. Okay, so it has to take input and it has to give outputs. Okay, so the major functions that are performed by an embedded system are controlling or monitoring, then execution of some operation based on some environmental changes. These are the major applications of an embedded system. So the changes in the environment are considered as variables. Okay. So the device that we are using to detect those changes in variables is called a sensor. Okay. So normally sensors are inputs to the embedded system. Okay, so obviously we need an output also. Okay, so in the output port we will connect a device called actuator. So what is an actuator? So the actuator will perform some controlling or mechanical action in the output port. So the operation will be like this: the sensor will send some value and it will be given as some input to the microcontroller, and the microcontroller will process it and it will give a signal to the actuator, and the actuator will give an output. Okay, so an example for a sensor is temperature sensor. An example for an actuator is a stepper motor. Okay, so we will study about sensors. So normally the sensors are transducers because the input to a microcontroller is always what? Some voltage. Okay, so the values present inside the environment has to be converted to some voltage. So that purpose always we will use some transducers as sensors. Okay, so what is a transducer? A transducer is a device which converts energy in one form to another form. Okay, so here the energy will be in different forms. For example, temperature, pressure. So these are some different values. So we have to convert these values into voltage. So that is the purpose of sensor. So we can say some example for sensor as infrared sensor, humidity sensor is there, ultrasonic sensors are there, piezoelectric sensors are there, smoke sensors are there. So these are some examples for sensors. So if you look here, these are some diagrams that showing some sensors. One is soil moisture sensor, that is humidity sensor. Next one is infrared sensor. So you can see here one transmitter is there, one receiver is there. So based on the transmitted and received signal, it will detect any obstacle is present in a particular way. Then ultrasonic sensor is also there. So the principle is like it will transmit at ultrasonic rays and it will receive ultrasonic signal, and based on that value it will sense the distance. Okay, so these are some examples for sensors. So now we look into actuators. So actuators are always output devices. So it is also a transducer. So always the input to the actuator is always what? An electrical signal, because that signal is coming from the microcontroller. Okay, so based on that electrical signal, it will generate some mechanical action or some signal. Okay, so that is depending on the type of actuator that we are using. Okay, so one example for this actuator is a speaker. Okay, so the microcontroller will provide some electrical signal. Based on that electrical signal, pressure variation will be done by the speaker and we will hear sound. Okay, buzzer is an actuator, printer is an actuator. Okay, so it is converting data and it will print into some piece of paper. So these are the examples for actuator. So here we can see an embedded system that is connected to different types of sensors and actuators. Okay, so first of all, if you see here, this is an LED. So LED comes under actuators. Okay, here a relay is there. So relay also comes under what? Actuator. LDR, light dependent resistor. So it is a light sensor. So here we are giving input light sensor. Then temperature sensor, it is also a sensor. It gives the input to the embedded system. Infrared receiver, this is also a sensor that is given as the input. Buzzer is an output, so it is an actuator. Okay, potentiometer, so we use to control something, so it is a input, so it is a sensor. Okay, then push button, this is also an input. So these are some examples of sensors and actuators that are connected to an embedded system. So next important part is input output subsystem. Okay, so sometimes we cannot connect these sensors and actuators directly to the embedded system, so we need an interaction or intermediate device. Okay, like an interface. So those interfaces are called IO subsystems. Okay, so the IO subsystem of the embedded system facilitates the interaction of the embedded system with the external world. Okay, so we can say these sensors and actuators together, we can say like what? IO subsystems. Okay, so sensors will be connected to the input ports of the embedded system. So normally we will not connect these sensors or actuators directly to the embedded system. So in between this embedded system and sensors, we will use some signal conditioners or translating systems such as analog to digital converter or optocouplers, etc. Okay, so these are the input output subsystems. Okay, so first one we are going to study is light emitting diode or LED. So what is the purpose of light emitting diode? So it is obviously an output device. So it will provide a visual indication in the embedded system. So basically what is an LED? So it is simply what? A PN junction diode. So it consists of an anode and a cathode. Okay, so it is having two legs. Okay, so a bigger one and a smaller one. So the bigger one is anode and the smaller one is what? Cathode. Okay, so if we want to connect the LED, how we need to connect it? So the anode should be connected to the positive terminal of the battery and the cathode should be connected to the negative terminal of the battery. Okay, so here if you see a resistor will be connected. Okay, a resistor will be connected before we are giving connection to the LED. So what is the purpose of this resistor? So the purpose of this resistor is to limit the current. Okay, so if more current is passing through this LED, it will get damaged. So in order to limit the current, we are using a resistor. Okay. Okay. So always we are using this LED at the output port. It will give some indication. Okay. So whether the power is on, whether the battery is low. Okay. Whether the temperature is exceeded beyond some threshold value. Okay. So these things we can indicate simply using what? An LED. So next type of output device is 7 segment LED display. So what is a 7 segment LED display? It is an output device for displaying alphanumeric characters. Simple LED display, it can only glow. Okay, so it can indicate only on or off conditions. Okay, so 7 segment LED display is an output device that is used for displaying alphanumeric characters. We can represent A to Z, 1 to 0, then decimal points also. So it consists of 8 LED diodes. Okay, so it contains 8 LEDs. 7 LEDs are used for displaying alphanumeric characters, and one LED is used for displaying the decimal point. Okay. Next one is classification of 7 segment displays. Okay, so we have two configuration or two classifications. One is common anode LED display and common cathode LED display. So what is the difference between this common cathode and common anode? So if you want to display alphanumeric values, okay, or alphabets and numbers, we need to give some control signals to the LED. Okay, so which LED has to glow in order to display a particular alphabet, or which LED has to glow in order to display some numbers. That things are controlled by some control signals. Okay, so normally, as I told you earlier, it has an anode and a cathode. So anode will be connected to the positive terminal and cathode will be connected to the negative terminal. Okay, so here we can see like A, B, C, D, like that. We are giving values to the LED. Okay, so based on these values, these LEDs will glow and we will get some numbers. Okay, so here the difference is in common anode LED display. What we are doing? We are connecting all the anodes together and we are connecting this anode to the positive terminal of the battery. Then when we are considering the negative terminal, here we will adjust. Okay, here the anode needs to be connected to the positive terminal and the cathode needs to be connected to the ground. Okay, so this connection to the ground will be controlled by some switches. Okay, so based on these values, based on the controlling of the switches, these numbers and alphabets will be. So in common anode configuration, all the anodes are connected together and it will be connected to the positive terminal. So while considering the cathode, so there will be a switch to control the cathode. Okay, so the cathode will decide which LED has to glow. Okay, so in the case of common cathode configuration, all the cathodes are connected together and we have to connect the battery to the anode. So if you are providing a power to this LED alone will go, and if you are giving VCC to this LED, it alone will glow. Okay, so like that we can control these LEDs. Next device is optocouplers. So optocouplers are devices that we are using to isolate electric or electronic circuits, or isolate input from output. Okay, so in most of the embedded system or most of the electronic devices, we will be giving input and we will be taking output. So we will be connecting this system to a common power supply, right? We're connecting this system to the common power supply. So there will be a chance of electromagnetic interference between the input and output. Okay, so in order to avoid this thing, we are using what? An optocoupler. So it will act as an isolation between the input devices and output devices. So normally what is our motto? We have a sensor that should send some value, and based on the sensed value the microcontroller has to perform some operation, and the output from the microcontroller will be given to actuators, and these actuators will perform some action. So input is the sensor part and output is the actuator part. If you are giving the common power supply to the input device and output device, there may be a chance of electromagnetic interaction. So in order to avoid this interaction, we are using what? A solid state device that is called a optocoupler, because the controlling part here, it is an optical device. Okay, so we are giving an LED, it will give the input, and a phototransistor will be there. That phototransistor will detect the light, and it is controlling what? The device. Okay, so the application of this optocoupler are, so it is used for suppressing the electromagnetic interference. Okay, so we are using this in data communication, circuit isolation, high voltage separation, then simultaneous separation, and intensification signals. So these are the applications of optocouplers. So next output device is a stepper motor. Okay, so stepper motor is usually a actuator. Okay, so it will be on the output side of an embedded system. So next one is a stepper motor. So stepper motor, we can say it is an actuator. Okay, so it is always present in the output side of the embedded system. Okay, so unlike DC motors and other motors, what is the peculiarity of this stepper motor? So if we provide some current to the DC motor, it will rotate in an indefinite manner. Okay, so we can only control the RPM, the rotation speed only we can control. But if you consider the case of stepper motor, the stepper motor is a device which generates a discrete displacement. Okay, one step displacement. Okay, so there are different angles. We can obtain 30-degree displacement, 60-degree displacement, 90-degree or 180-degree displacement also we can obtain from a stepper motor. So it will provide a discrete motion, step by step motion it will provide based on the DC electrical signal we are giving to the stepper motor. Okay, so it is different from the DC motor. So DC motors, as I told you earlier, it will provide a continuous motion, continuous operation. Okay, but in the case of stepper motor, it will provide what? a discrete movement. Okay, so it is based on the DC voltage that we are giving to the embedded system. Okay, the major application of these stepper motors are industrial embedded applications, consumer products, robotics, and control systems. Okay, so if you consider the paper feed mechanism of a printer or a fax machine, it is a stepper motor. Okay, a stepper motor is used to feed paper to a printer or a fax machine. Next one is relay. Okay, and another word for relay is electromechanical switch. Okay, relay is simply a switch. So what is a normal switch, a normal push button switch? When we press the switch, the circuit will be closed, right? But in the case of relay, when we apply an voltage, the circuit will be closed. Okay, so when we apply an voltage to this coil, okay, then this switch will be closed. Okay, and we will get a closed circuit here. Okay, so a relay is a electromechanical device which act as a dynamic path selector for signals and power. Path selector means what? A switch. Okay, so a relay unit normally consists of what? A coil. Here is the coil, and in these terminals only we will apply the voltages. Okay, the coil will be made of insulated wire, and there will be a metal core attached to it, just like a transformer. Okay, we are using a coil. Okay, and an armature also will be there. So what is the peculiarity of the armature? The armature will be having one or more contacts. Okay, so the relay works on the principle of electromagnetic principle. Okay, so when we apply an voltage to the relay coil, current flows to the coil, and it will form a magnetic field. Okay, so the magnetic field will attract the armature coil, and that armature coil will move to the contact point. Okay, when we release the voltage, it will go to the previous position. Okay, for example, if you consider this one, okay, this is open circuit. Okay, when we apply voltage here, it will form a magnet, and it will attract this one. When it is attracted, these 2 points will be closed. Okay, so this is a single pole single throw, and it is normally open. What is this normally open, normally closed? Normally open means if you are not providing an voltage, the circuit will be open circuit. If you are providing an voltage, then the magnetic field will be activated and it will be closed circuit. So this is normally closed. Normally closed means what? Normally current will flow through it, and if you are providing an voltage, then the magnetic field will be activated and it will become open circuit. Okay, so this is single pole double throw. So here 2 connections are there. Okay, either it will be connected to this pole or it will be connected to this pole. So this type of relays are called bipolar relays. So the last one is a piezoelectric buzzer. Okay, so buzzer we know. So buzzer is used for generating audio indications in embedded application. So it will indicate some errors, or it will indicate some threshold values, or it will indicate some exceeding of some values. It will indicate. Okay, so if fire is there, okay, the fire sensor will sense the value and it will give an output to the piezoelectric buzzers, and it will generate an audio. Okay, A piezo buzzer consists of piezoelectric diaphragm which produce audible sound in response to voltage applied to it. Okay, so if you apply an voltage, there is a diaphragm, there will be a change in pressure, and that pressure will be indicated as sound. So there are two types of piezoelectric buzzers. One is self-driving and external driving. So self-driving means it consists of necessary components to generate a different sound in a different predefined tone. Okay, some music will be there. Okay, so that is uh, previously feeded into the piezoelectric buffer. Okay, so if you want to generate different tones, we have to use external driving piezoelectric buzzers. Okay, so external driving means externally we will provide a variation in signals. Okay, so we will provide a pulse train. Okay, based on that pulse train we can change the tone, change the music. Okay, based on the pulse train it will produce sounds in a different manner. Okay, so those are self-driving and external driving piezo buzzers. Self-driving means what? Already the music is stored inside. Piezo buzzers means we can provide some signal and based on that pulse train it will work. So that is the end of the topic. So thank you for listening to this lecture. So if you have any doubts you can contact me. Okay, bye.